Hi guys, good morning and welcome to another market review session with Coach Ray, the market trader. A little bit later start. I ran into some difficulties, technical difficulties here, but managed to sort them out, and here I am, ready to go. So let's go. Without further ado, let's get started with the risk disclosure again. Just want to start with that aspect. Let's see. Let's not. Let's see. Okay, here we go. All right, guys. So just to remind everyone that the content that's contained herein and published and distributed by the market trader and its affiliates is to be treated as general information only. None of the information provided by the company or contained herein is intended as investment advice. An offer to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any future security, company, or fund. Again, just use of this information is to be used at your own risk. And we all understand that future trading does carry a fair amount of risk and is not for every investor. An investor could lose potentially all or more of their investment capital, only risk capital money that can be otherwise lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or company or security or lifestyle, I should say, should be used for trading. Only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Nothing contained herein is a solicitation or an offer to buy, sell futures, options, or forex. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right. So now that we got the risk disclosure out of the way here, guys. Good morning, Will. Good morning, Chief Duke. Want to go ahead and take a look at the news portal here and see. Actually, we're going to go back to that same screen here and see if I can actually make that switch and to have it take effect here. No, yeah, it looks like it worked. Okay. So looking at the financial news here, guys, we have a number of news events that are coming in our direction. We've already had a few of them. We have ADP employment changes, trade balance coming in, Treasury quarterly that has, I guess, yet to report. We have some earnings coming in, Disney reporting, and then we have PMI coming in at 9:45 today, and then at 10 a.m. we have, I guess, some additional ISM services PMI, and then for those crude oil traders, we have EIA inventories. Okay, this event happens on a weekly basis. Okay, so at 10:30 Eastern, we have crude oil inventories. Okay, so that's something else to be aware of if you are a crude oil trader. All right. Let's see. We have some Fed members speaking to kind of round out the day. All right. So now that we have a feel for the news or that we have coming, we can go ahead and move into a closer look at the markets. Okay. Morning, Alejandro. All right. So we're going to go ahead and move into our charts here. Okay. And we're going to move into start with is gold. It's been open the longest. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and kind of do our cursory multi-time frame analysis on the markets. Okay. So again, looking at the daily. Okay. We see that the daily still isn't on its march higher. Okay. Nothing really indicating here other than the fact that we are seeing maybe a selling wick here on the daily chart. But we've reached, I think we've reached and exceeded 2,900. Okay, so the march is on in gold. 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, we have developing a bearish candle. Okay, in an otherwise upward market. Okay, so I'm just going to turn off some of my levels here. This is kind of distracting at the moment. Okay. So yeah, again, market remains very much bullish, but we do have a a bearish engulfing candle developing. Okay, we've kind of reached some levels at 2,900, a psychological. It's a whole number that could cause the market to maybe pull back some here. Okay, just looking at other events and prices that we've had in the past, and see 2,800. Okay. So again, this might be we remain in an upward trend, we could be due for maybe a little bit of a retracement today in gold. Okay. We do have a volume delta indicating that maybe there is some interest to the downside. Okay, in this market, we'll have to see, how this plays out. Okay. Moving on to the 30-minute chart. Okay, 30-minute chart. Okay, we are starting to maybe reach, okay, maybe some potential levels here. We've already kind of reached something I guess I kind of ran into when I was trading here gold. Maybe this happened a little bit earlier, but the idea here is that it did reach average daily range and it faltered, right? So now, okay, again, we are, I would say, I think we remain a 30-minute chart. It's looking a little bit bearish. It did manage to make a lower high, okay, and a lower low, right? So kind of beginning a sequence of bearish activity. But we know that on the higher time frames we remain rather bullish. So the path forward obviously is to remain as much as we can aligned with the higher time frame chart. Okay, higher time frame chart is bullish, so we need to see if we can locate some areas where we can participate on the bullish side of this market. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and open up fixed range volume profile. We're going to go ahead and draw in our fixed range volume profile from Tuesday here. So we're going to go ahead and start here and drag it across. Okay, drag it across to here. All right. So there we have it. Okay, price did manage, not quite, has not managed to get down to value area high. Okay. Now, value area high would be a nice logical level for a bounce in this market. Okay, a little bit of a retracement down to value area, the value area high, and off we go. Okay, so this area here is probably an area that we want to watch to see if we do get a possible reversal back to the upside in gold. Okay, that's the logical level for me. Now, if we do manage to close inside, well, we have some areas here at 28.75. Okay, that's average daily range low, average session range low, I should say. And that could also offer. So we have some areas here. Okay. And then this would be considered a little bit of a demand zone, right? This is the last logical location where we saw evidence of buying, right? So market was in congestion, right? Congestion, consolidating, and then market participants had what they needed, and they drove price higher again. Now we're kind of meandering our way down. Okay, so this would be the next logical level for these traders who are bullish to potentially step back into the market. Okay, so that's another consideration here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and open up initial balance here. Okay, initial balance. Okay, there's our initial balance range, relatively wide. I say probably a normal range. Okay, and then the only other thing that I want to add here is my levels here. So if I can look at my levels, we'll go ahead and add my price points that I'm looking at. Okay. All right. So these are our levels that we're tracking in this market here. Okay. Price levels, areas that can be used as targets, areas that can be used as areas of potential reversal. These are how I use these levels. Okay. So we have, again, I guess I'm not super keen, even though on the lower time frame, we are seeing some evidence that maybe we are in a little bit of a retracement. Okay. I'm still kind of the opinion that gold is still, rather bullish. So I'm gonna be patient and wait for price to get to a solid demand level. Okay. And right now, the solid demand level for me is about, let's call it 28.75. Okay. If price, assuming that, and this is assuming that this would be this is correct, right? That would be the logical place, right? I see evidence of buyers here, okay, and I suspect that that would be the logical place for a price to bounce here, okay. We are below VWAP, so that's an indication that the market is a bit bearish. We have been seeing a little bit of bearish volume delta, okay. So those obviously have to be taken into consideration here. I'm going to go ahead and open up my anchor VWAP above. All right. And there we are. We are also below anchor VWAP. So again, doesn't seem like the natural thing given what we're seeing as far as price, but given what I'm seeing on the higher time frame, that's an area that I'm going to be waiting on for myself. Okay. If this is indeed a bearish move, okay, then I would suspect that we get below 28.72. Okay, then we start to break some significant structure here on the 30-minute. Until then, I'm treating this as kind of a retracement. Okay, so I don't know if we have some Fibonacci, kind of aficionados here. Okay, but if I take this swing, okay, and just kind of draw it here, okay, well, it's reversing off the golden ratio. Okay, so 61.8%. Now this, if this happens to close bullish, well, we can use the ratios, okay, and then maybe use the 78.6% as the logical stop zone, okay, for this, right? It kind of reached down to the 78.6 and now reversing away from the 61.8%, okay? So this area right here, assuming that we can indeed close, then I would expect maybe another leg higher in the gold market. All right. So again, where could that trade lead? Well, if I do an extension, okay, well, certainly can back to the top, and maybe we make our next high in gold at 29.1090. That would be the 100% extension of this swing here. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm kind of treating it as at the moment. I'm treating it as more of a retracement of a bullish swing, and using it as an opportunity, maybe for a potential opportunity to the long side. Okay, so but I do need to see some evidence. I mean, I am seeing some evidence now of interest, bullish interest. Okay, and now I'm just waiting to get confirmation of that. Right, I'm waiting for this 30-minute candle to close, or a 15-minute candle to close, to indicate that is indeed the case here. All right. Okay. So let's go ahead and move on. Okay, to the crude oil market, because I do want to see if I can get to obviously the NASDAQ before we open here. So just keeping it at a high level here, guys. As I mentioned earlier, we do have the EIA report that's coming. Okay. So again, crude oil remains in this kind of bearish tone here. Okay. Nothing really indicating to me that there's any end in sight of this. Well, there is end in sight. The ends or the possibilities are down here at 67 and 68, right? These are the logical locations where we could see a significant reversal in the crude oil market. For now, I would say that the crude oil market remains in this bearish tone, bearish sentiment. Okay, so that's kind of the frame, the framework that I'm working with, or the frame of mind I'm working with as I approach the markets today. Okay, looking at the 4-hour chart. Okay, for our chart, again, we see our lower lows and lower highs. Okay, these are not small candles to the downside. Now we had come into an area 72. I would say was kind of a reasonable area to consider as maybe a potential area of support. But that did not have, for now, has not held. It seems that there is some continued momentum to the downside. Moving on to the 30-minute chart. 30-minute chart, we have a developing bearish engulfing candle below VWAP. I'm going to go ahead and draw in my fixed range volume profile here. And let's see, we're going to go ahead and locate the from Tuesday here. So right about there, we'll drag that across to the close right here, I think. Let's see. I drew this correctly. I think it was one more over. Okay, there it is. So we are below value again indicating that we could see some continued movement to the downside. I do use the 233-day EMA, and you can see this is the 233-day EMA, and price is below that. So that's another indication that I use it more as a sentiment. Okay, bullish above, bearish below. Okay, so again, market feels bearish. And really, I would say that the approach that we should be taking in this market is to locate areas where we could, that would offer us some areas to continue to sell. Okay, that's what it appears to me. I think it feels like it wants to come back down to this 70 level. Okay, retrace all these single prints. I use it on I have it on all time frames, Joe. It's kind of like an overarching kind of sentiment. Okay, I have the 233-day on all time frames. Okay, it's just a way for me to get a sense of sort of market sentiment. Okay, so like I said, right now it does feel like we have reached an average daily range low here that could offer us, again, an area for us maybe to potentially reverse. We're going to be watching the initial balance range. I would suspect that this initial balance range will probably be relatively tight until the EIA report that is published or announced on at 10:30 Eastern time. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add Anchor VWAP. I suspect that the Anchor VWAP is probably going to be down as well. See here if I can locate that. No, that's not the area I wanted to draw in. Right about there. Okay, there's our Anchor VWAP from the London's perspective. So yes, it does appear that we do have some interest again to the downside. We have our VWAP price is below. We have our Anchor VWAP from London is below. Like I said, really the logical area to really see some buyers here is down at this level down below. Okay, right around the 71 level. We seem to be destined to reach 71 before we make any significant reversal in crude oil. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and add our levels, okay, that I'll be tracking in this market, and then just kind of spot check those a couple, and then we'll move on to the equity market. All right, so these are the levels that I'm tracking in this market here, okay? So here you have it, right? 70. Not only we have the 71 here, it's kind of earring as our 4-hour demand. So 4-hour demands don't get unnoticed. Okay, those are areas that offer maybe a potential area for reversals, and then also areas that where we could maybe see the light at the end of the tunnel for those who are short. Okay, at least initially. All right, at least as a day trade, right? So I do feel like there's still room to the downside in crude oil before we see any significant reversal in this market. Okay. I've already marked my value area. So again, if price stays below value, that's another indication of bearish activity. If we eventually get an extension of price below initial balance, that's another indication of bearish activity. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm looking at. I would say in this market, I would say that in the oil, I'm bearish. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the equity markets, because the markets are about to open here in about 10 to 12 minutes here. So I want to get through at least the NASDAQ and the ES if I can before those markets open up. Okay. So again, looking at the daily, We seem to be in this kind of range, really not offering us much in the way of direction here, guys. This is, this is not the kind of price overlapping price action that is easy to trade, right? We have price kind of overlapping, and otherwise, I guess I would say overall rangy kind of market here. Okay, if we look, if we ignore this for a second, if we just ignore the most recent activity, you can say that the market has been on an uptrend. But since let's say end of December, right, we've been in this kind of choppy zone, right? We've been in sort of this chop, not really understanding what direction that folks wanted to take this market. Okay, so daily remains in range. Okay, nothing really to highlight here. Okay, we filled the gap. All right, 4-hour chart. Looking at the 4-hour chart, we filled the gap. And like I said, if I just looked at this, okay, just looked at this series of candles, you could make an argument that maybe that we're making a series of higher highs and higher lows. Okay, but as you kind of peel the onion here a little bit, you can see that this is just part of a larger structure that really lacks a lot of direction. Okay, really not a lot of direction here in this market. Okay, so it's difficult to say where we're headed. Now we are seeing a bullish engulfing candle, but honestly, in order for me to say that we are in a trend to the upside, I need to see a higher high. Okay, I need to see a higher high. If we cannot make higher highs, and we made an attempt here and failed, then I cannot say that we're in a trend. Okay, rather we are in a bit of consolidation. Okay, so if I'm bullish, I need to see price break and hold 21,620. Okay, I needed to break and hold above. Then we can start making a case that maybe we are headed in an upward move in the Nasdaq. If not, then maybe we continue in this kind of range and eventually we'll fail, right? So that's kind of what I'm seeing on the 4-hour chart. 30-minute chart. Okay, there's our series of bullish candles. These are our series of bullish candles here. Okay, cannot ignore that that pretty much London has been bringing the market up. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile. We're going to go ahead and start it from yesterday here. Let's see if I can locate yesterday in a reasonable way here. All right, so right about not quite, almost. Right about there. Okay, we're going to drag that across to the close here. Okay, there it is. So price is below, okay, below value from yesterday. What does that tell us? Well, that means that we have bears in control of the market. That's what it tells us. Okay. Now, one thing that I guess maybe is in the cap of the bulls, we do see as of London, right? If I do my anchor VWAP here, there seems to be some interest to the upside. Okay, in this instrument. Okay, in this case, Nasdaq. So I'm adding my anchor VWAP on the sort of the V turn that was made in during the London session. Okay, now price is above our daily VWAP, and initial balance is still about 10 or about 7 minutes from opening. Okay, so what to make of this? Well, I would say that we can use the VWAP as our reference level. Okay, and use that VWAP as maybe a reference to give us maybe a continued move to the upside, because I am seeing that we're starting to break some structure here above this area. This is kind of the last kind of strong candle that I'm seeing on the bearish side. Okay, if we do manage to close above that, okay, then I would say that we have a reasonable chance to get up to 21,616 without much effort. Okay, and then beyond that, that's where it becomes interesting. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add my price levels to this market. Okay, all right, here are our price levels on this market. Okay, there are our levels here. Okay, so right now, right, like I said, if we do manage to close above, I think we have reasonable chance to get higher. I think if we get up to these levels, I suspect that we will, again, in the mode of range, right? I would expect that we kind of reverse at those levels, those higher levels. Okay, so up until that point, I think we have a reasonable, how we say, path to 21,616. Okay, is the level that I'm seeing. Okay, all right. Let's close off with a review of ES. Okay, ES is a little bit further along on that view, right? We were just talking about how the Nasdaq had just barely made it. So I don't know if you guys, obviously we all understand that Nasdaq and ES are correlated markets. Well, I just got a sneak peek from ES, right? That indicates to me that this move that I was telling us about on the Nasdaq, well, I've got a sneak peek of that, right? Because it's made even further progress than Nasdaq it has currently. So that could be a kind of a leading indicator, I guess, a price of correlated market offering us some insights as to where price could potentially lead. Okay, so I'm going to forego the multi time frame analysis here on the ES because I suspect we have a same kind of picture that we are in some sort of range. Okay, behavior. So I'm going to go ahead and do my other analysis here. We're going to go ahead and open up my fixed range volume profile from yesterday, and let's see if I can do this in a reasonable way. Let's see, is that quite finding myself here a little bit? Okay. In any case, we've reached. I don't think this is 100% accurate, but let's see if I can get to this bottom button here. Okay. Well, let's do it a different way. Let's draw it entirely again. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and start with the open and go to the close. There is the close. All right. So there's our value area low. We've reached it. Okay. So for all intensive purposes, this kind of scalp kind of opportunity, okay, back to for a long has been reached. Okay. So now we're coming into an area, right, where we could potentially reverse, right? We have our average session ranges here at 60.55. That could offer us a logical opportunity for a reversal in price. Okay. And like I was saying before with the NASDAQ, the NASDAQ had just, had maybe one candle that had just gotten above VWAP. So ES in some cases is a bit stronger in that regard, right? So let's go ahead and add our price levels to this chart. All right, so we're looks like we're looking to kind of close back inside value, which could indicate that we see a full rotation of price through value. Okay, so let's see. Okay, all right, and then the next thing I'm going to go ahead and draw in is my anchor VWAP. Okay, my anchor VWAP is down at these levels here. Actually, I'm going to use this pivot here. This is just bothering me. Okay, so here we are. We see that price is above our anchor VWAP from London, okay, during the London session. So again, indicating that maybe we see some, additional price movement. Now, if we do, now we are coming into an area here where we could see some resistance. So I do see that we have some, supply zones coming in here at around 60.70. Okay, so these areas could present, I guess, a difficulty for further price to move higher. Okay, So we'll have to see how price behaves around this area, and to see if it has the resources to continue to drive price higher. Okay, so let's see. That's pretty much what I'm thinking. Looks like the equities in at least the ES and the Nasdaq appear to be, I guess, a bit bullish. Okay, we are just getting the open of the market here, so it'll be interesting to see how price reacts to this area here. I suspect that we will, potentially reach the highs here around 60, 70. But I would be interesting to see how price reacts once we get there. Okay. So just kind of popping in here to see if there's any general questions of the markets. I gotta take another peek here at the Nasdaq. As I mentioned, we were just starting to see that price was making its way so above this VWAP here, and that the ES had made a lot more progress to the upside. Okay, so again, that could be kind of a leading indicator here to some further price action to the upside. We'll have to see, and then a VWAP could serve as our kind of line in the sand on that front. Okay, so I think with that, unless there's questions, we'll go ahead and close off the pre-market review session, unless we have a special request for the Dow. I suspect the Dow is probably giving us. I will take a peek here at the Dow on the 30-minute chart just to see, where price is in relation to VWAP. We can see that price is above VWAP. Again, giving us maybe some signals of some bullish price action in this market. All right. We do have a strong volume delta bar, so a number of sellers looks like have stepped into this market. We'll have to see how this all plays out. Okay. So I guess with that, guys, if there's no other questions, I think we have kind of a view of the markets here. Gold remains strong to the bullish side. I would say crude oil remains bearish, and that the equities are in range. Okay, in range on maybe on the shorter time frame. That we're more on the area of maybe where we're approaching some areas of resistance. Okay, so with that, we'll close off the session, and with the same sentiment and view to trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. All right, guys, have an excellent day today. Trade well, wait for your levels, and then execute. All right, have a great day trading. Talk soon.